£5 for charity, through a 5K run. Mercy Shield. Please, oh, I beg, I take Jesus beg you. Support me in donating to this charity. I have not said it in the beginning of this video, but I'm saying it now. Please, please support me. I really want. Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel. Welcome to Talkinsen. It's me, Ogechi. Welcome. So, hope you're having a good day so far. I am doing this recording based on different viewpoints, and this is solely based on my own opinion and also based on my own encounters and experiences and others as well. Talking about others, this video is inspired by two stories, one that happened last year and the one that took place this year. So I think with the way I'm going with my videos, you can see there is always an inspiration behind each video, and I'm narrating them to you before I share them with you. So the first one that took place was a woman who's also a YouTuber in this place. She actually lives in Scotland. She talked about her experience with a social worker. Basically, you can go and search for her story, but I'm not going to put the link below. But her experience was that her son went to school and didn't come back as usual, only for her to receive a call from the school. And when she came, it became that the son reported her for, will I say, hitting or smacking him, and so basically for violence. And the social worker took it up from there, and from there everything escalated. It really disrupted their family system. And she is of an African woman, a Nigerian woman. And then she went ahead and narrated her story and what led to the incident, where it was simply a sibling squabble, and she tried to correct her son, and her son was, according to her, was being rude. So the usual African way, she smacked him, I think by the shoulder or something like that, and she didn't try to deny it. She said exactly what happened, and this is the reason why I decided to use her story for this story, because one thing I like, the fact that she was transparent, she was honest, and there is no reason to hide what you said. If you did what you did in good faith, there is no reason why you should be, what's it called, having some sort of doubts and stuff like that. So basically, that's really what took place. So based on that story, it touched me to do it, because I think she did about 3 videos explaining herself and the incident that happened, and just gave an update on where she and her family were at the present. The last update I watched of her that she gave was that her son has still not apologized to her based on what took place, and she learned that it was her friend that encouraged him to report it to the school authorities or mention it to her teacher, who reported it to the safeguarding team and all that. And then she also went ahead to say that her family dynamic, not only that it shifted, it made also, I think what I gathered was there became lack of trust within the family. The son started acting out and just started being ignorant and being rude, or just not really participating in family activities. And then also somehow affected her relationship with her father, with her husband. But at the end of the day, they came out much better, because her husband and she now made a decision on how they're going to raise their family, and they are now more involved. So even if in the cases she's the disciplinarian in the family, the husband is also going to support in that situation. I think that was the gist of it. I mean, you can watch it. It was a case that she mentioned. However, there were some things that she mentioned in her story which I thought was like, my dear, you would do the same thing if you are in that shoe, because based on the law of the nation that you are living in, if you see something, you report it, right? If someone raises it, what is deemed as a safeguarding concern, no matter how trivial you think it may be, your only job is to report it. And she was talking about how this affected her work, and she said that because she built a good relationship in her workplace, her manager supported her through that. And I wanted to be like, touch on that and just say, yeah, thank you to that manager, because what that manager has done is to show understanding on different ways of raising children, because not everyone raises a child the same way. And do you know, I keep saying to myself, do you know, even these people that you see on media platforms, and even politicians, if I may ask. There are some of them who do discipline their children in that way. It's just, how did your child take it is another question. Another thing is, did you do it out of love? I really do believe that if you discipline a child out of love, it is only to their intuition that they know that this is because the reason why I did this. And I'll even narrate my own story. Don't get me wrong, I'm not just telling people my story. I'll tell you a little bit experience of my own story, which I think is important. She apologized to her son about the incident, but she also expected apology from her son because he's the one that provoked the situation, and also he's the one giving her attitude. And they actually tried to tell her to leave her house just because of safeguarding concerns. I was like, that's not right. Bear in mind, she has other children, so who's going to raise them? I thought anyone that suggested that was just not thinking clearly. And one thing that you must understand, that family system in UK is governed so much, I believe, by the government than is of the parents, in that law and orders are applied if situations happen. And yeah, so that's really what happened. And she said so many other things that I wanted to touch on. She touched up on a social worker. She's a nurse. She was talking about her experience with the social workers and how I think some of them were not considerate and stuff like that. So, and perhaps she felt like she was being attacked, or her family was being attacked, and they wanted to destroy her family system. Note that she has raised 5 children already, so with no issues, at least reported issue, I would say. Now, the second story that came to my mind is a story that is recent, actually. Is a case of bullying, severe bullying, where a group of students attacked one student and basically, I would say, gang beat him up in the streets. The issue with that, when I saw the video of the woman narrating the story, which was that her son was added to a WhatsApp group that he didn't want to belong to. He left that WhatsApp group, and it seems like it triggered issues with him and his peers, which led to the fight. And I said to myself, my dear, your child did the best thing, because he showed you the type of group that it's not a group that he should be part of if you want to raise him in the right way. And it's a group that will be probably disruptive in his life, disrupting his education, disrupting his life in general. So in that situation, that child did the right thing. But because of that situation, his peers decided to exercise their own power and beat him up in the streets. Now, I want to tell you so many things about this country that I've observed based on the person who lives here and someone that also has seen things as well. You may have seen some things, but like, I'm just telling you my own experience. You're not sharing it, so I'm sharing it. Okay, so please, this video is going to be a bit lengthy. I've had my points put down so that I can narrate and explain myself well. So if it's a bit lengthy, pardon me. So let's go into my own story, the things I want to narrate, so that you can see that I do empathize, first of all, with the different occasions I have mentioned, but I also think we also need to be very, very logical and practical based on where you are living and what your circumstances are. So this advice is basically for African parents, especially those who are new to the country or relatively new and have children here. Okay, note that I work with a lot of young people and in different spaces and places, and I've had experiences in different spaces and states. I understand them to a good extent and the issues that affect them. So I am speaking to you not just as a YouTuber, but as someone who is a highly experienced individual in this field of working with youths and young people, children as well. So here we go, my own story before I go in, so that there is no assumption of, oh, where is she coming from. So I like the fact that the woman in the first story, whose child reported her to the school authority, was honest. And I would say, first of all, it's really, really important that you're transparent and honest. If you did something in good faith, it is to my belief, I will not apologize. In my book, I will not apologize if I did something in good faith, like in terms of if I've tried to discipline my child in good faith and that situation happened. I will not, you may apologize for the sake of, sometimes you apologize not because you're wrong or in a stage of admitting guilt, but rather it was just a case of thing to do to keep things moving. And I even advise this thing to young people, that sometimes you just have to apologize, not because you are trying to say I am guilty or because you are in the wrong. If you're in the wrong, obviously admit it, but not because you're guilty, but because in situations like that, not only you will just escalate things or you will not make things feel right. So apology is not always I'm sorry. Apology is sometimes let's get things moving in good faith. So in that situation, I thought it was a good thing he also apologized to his son. And I said to you, there's a reason why that apology is also important. The only thing, the behavior of the son is when she was describing, is the one that was annoying me a little bit and irritating. I'm like, baby, you're in UK, you're living with an African parents, and they were not going to raise you according to how other parents of a different race raises their child. Everyone is different in their form of raising, and I think that's something that has to really ingrain in their head to some extent, because I do find that some of them, they watch so much of TV and how other people do, and they think it's like that. This is where I'd say also there's a part blame on the parents, and I'll come to that. So my own story, I remember when I can't forget it. I believe my mom was looking for a key. And note that I'm coming from a family, I'm just telling to you, I'm very, very honest, that are not verbally apologetic. The apology comes in a different form. This is why it's very important to understand your family dynamic. And I think most Nigerians and African parents, children who have sense in them, understand that they look out for different ways that parents apologize. So, some people say it's through food, other times it's through acts of service. And I think most African parents go through acts of service to apologize to you. The only thing is, have you been cognizant enough to understand what they are doing? Okay? Sometimes it may be just buying you that thing that you've been wanting since, depending on the level of apology, And so other times it's just you have to be cognizant. Here they may apologize from a verbal perspective, other raise me up. But African parents, from what I know, majority of them, I'm not saying they don't say sorry. I'm just saying when they want to give you apology, it's through act of service. That's really where their heart comes from. So if you are not cognizant enough and intelligent enough to understand your family dynamic, you would end up being angry forever. And trust me, they will not necessarily say sorry to you. I'm not joking. So back to my story. My mother was looking for key, and then I say that also looking to my own family as well, right? My mother was looking for key, and I told her I wasn't the one that misplaced it. It was, I never touched it and stuff like that. I don't know what even happened. I thought as I was making my point. I don't know why. To be honest, today it's very vivid in my head. She knocked me on the head. And you know what that looks like. On that very day, I will tell you the honest truth. I'm vulnerable so that you as a parent can be able to open up to relate. And you as a child can be open up to relate and also understand and know that these things are not only you. Because I think when people feel they're alone in an issue, it comes piled up. But I'm telling you, it's not only you. I literally, when I say you see stars, that was my very first day I saw stars in my eyes. So that shows you. When you say if I slap you now, you see multiple stars. I was like, So this is what happened then. She then finally decided to look, and then she saw the key. I think in her head she realized that she was the one that kept the key there and couldn't find it. As I was crying, she looked at me and told me, I'm sorry. Till today, you don't know what that word did for me. It meant for me that I knew my mom wasn't so disciplined in her ways, to use for lack of a better word. But I understood that she can apologize with words. So till today, I wouldn't lie to you. If I can tell you how many times my mom has said sorry with her mouth, I will tell to you. I can count it in my hands. Hardly it happens in our own family. So in that situation, once again, as I grew older, I came to realize her ways of doing things, and it's very important for you to do so with your parents. And then with my story, I'm telling you the importance of you as a parent using your word verbally to say I am sorry. That behavior is highly important, not just for the child's, but for your relationship with that child. Because in my situation, as I mentioned, literally the way it shifted the way I saw my mom a little bit. So it's not that I never thought she was a good woman or stuff like that. It was just a case, incidents like that. I can tell that she can be vulnerable. She can mellow herself down. I do find some parents do think that because they are the parents, they put themselves too high up, that they can't, why should I apologize to my own child and stuff like that, that they forget that the child is also a part of them. And even when the child is hurting, they are hurting. So basically, that was my own incident. So I hope my little incident helps you to relate with me in this thing, so that it opens up your mind to see what I'm saying, or to know what I'm saying and see my viewpoints. Okay? So let's go ahead then. Here are my advice as an African parent. If I said to myself, this is the title I put to this video. I said, this is the things I would do if I am an African parents raising a child in UK who is in secondary school or in primary school. And the reason why I put those two, because at that time they are kind of finding their independence, so they will have different behaviors that you may not understand. You may not be able to manage and control their behaviors at times. But these are the few points I am going to say to you. First of all, for you as a parent to continue having a good relationship with your child, and for your child to be able to thrive and survive in the UK system school environment, because it's not the same as home. You have seen how, if was it good? Some even there's incidents where, for example, you know, do you remember that woman? I can't remember her name. Whose son was his peers wanted to initiate him into occult or gang group stuff like that, and he refused. They beat him back and blue, stabbed him, and other. Not his peers, people actually of his senior age as well. Some of them were of older age. So I'm telling you, there's multiple things that your child experienced in school. Some of them may not have experienced or even encountered whilst you are in school. The fact that you didn't encounter it doesn't mean that your child did not encounter some things. So be very, very active in asking about their experiences, so that that conversation can allow you to have more thoughts and more viewpoints on what your child experiences are, so that you can be able to guide and advise and counsel in the better way you can. So the first point I put here, this is the things I would do. And I say adopt the Nigerian rich parents way of education and family values. The reason why I say so is because I have been opportune to be raised in multiple family. It was good to be to experience multiple families through, not just through my work, but also through going to them as a child for holidays and stuff like that. And I've seen how they do things. I would say the first thing to do, adopt that mentality. Oh, this is not actually the point I put here. Do not be too fearful of letting them see how other families live. That thing would be very important for you, because I find many people don't do that because you don't want to be compared. Because I saw that also with my mom saying, but this is not how these parents do this thing. And then if you don't want to be compared, you keep on comparing to the other children. So make it make sense. Do you get? So comparison in that sense is not a case of demeaning your own values, but you're just saying like, I could see this is how other people do their things, and I think this we can adopt it. There's nothing bad in learning from other parents. Let pride not keep you from learning and understanding. Okay, there is absolutely nothing wrong with learning from other parents. Where pride comes in, this is where you think you can't learn from other people, and then you keep making mistakes and you keep having issues with your parenting and your child, who then end up in the system. Okay, and don't have worked with children in the system, and although not many, some of them are Africans. So let's be honest with ourselves. Okay, first of all, please and pretty please don't be afraid to allow them to explore. If you especially have cousins that you trust, obviously you have to think about all the safety concerns about it. I've seen stories where child poisoned our fellow students and stuff. Parents did some science stuff to other people that went to sleepovers. But that is like some stories. I mean, even if it occurs often, there's also more positive stories where children have gone, made friends, made connections, and built relationship through either sleepovers or just having that experience of being with other parents without your presence. The key there is without your presence, because in that way it's allowing the child to learn how to observe their environment, learning to take the good and leaving the bad. This is if you train them well. I'm sorry, that's why I have to say it there, because if you didn't train them well, whatever goes, right? So that's another point. Another point I would say is learn to pray for your child. I don't care. I remember my mother, this is why I say, like, everyone, like when people say to me, how about if no one you're fearful, before I used to fear of death, but I stopped fearing death, especially even if it's within family death, where people will be like, well, if my mom goes, I was like, no, if my mom goes today, I will stand proud because that woman has instilled to me all that she needed to know. I do. Do you know? Because there were so many things I observed her doing. She didn't have to say it, that I picked up, and I felt like if I have my own child, obviously that's not going to happen. Nothing. Not the reason. Right? I put the reason there when I say things to do. When I talked about marriage, like speaking about married people on how you can improve in your own marriage. So yeah, I do cover diverse topics, and that one is actually led, you know, so by my experience and by also Holy Spirit. So basically, what I saw her do was she always used to pray over my head. I don't remember the T words that she used to say. It was things to do with, like, for example, if I have good, like, let bad people not come near to me, and let what's it called, something like let good people be near me, something like that. I can't remember the verbatim of it, but basically what I have experienced in my life is that based on that prayer, when I remember that prayer points, it meant that honestly, if you're a bad person, you can't last around me. I'm telling you for a fact, because I'm too good for you. I say I'm too good for you. Because I find that people that have negative spirits and evil in nature find me very, very overwhelming sometimes, and they cannot deal with me because, first of all, when people have evil and manipulative behavior, they find it difficult to control a behavior like me, which is outgoing, outspoken, and confident, and prayerful. See that key, prayerful. You don't know what that will lead to you. There are so many things that you don't know are happening to you behind, but you don't know that because of these little prayers that you've been praying for your child and for yourself are the things that are protecting you. I say instill that prayer thing on them. Let them learn to pray for themselves. You know, there are multiple prayers you can pray, whether it's from Proverbs or it's from Psalms. You see those prayers that talks about bad friends leaving you, good friends being with you. You see, especially in Proverbs, when giving advice, if you have to do, sit down and read the book of Proverbs with your child, where it says, well, my child, when these people say, come, let's gang up and do this thing to this person, do not be part of them. It actually says in Proverbs, I can't remember the proverb. I'll put it when I'm uploading the video, I'll put it there, okay? It does say it. There's so many, that is a book of wisdom. It's a book that allows any young person to learn how to navigate certain situations, especially with peers. And that, I love the proverb focus so much on peer relationship, and also this is not just for child or young people, it's also for adults. Anyone can benefit from the book of Proverbs. So basically I'll say do that wise thing. Introduce them to how to pray for themselves, because I say your prayer sends message to the angels to guard your child. Okay, you don't know things that will happen to your child, like evil people will not find them. I'm telling you the truth. Okay, even when they will be discouraged by your presence. You don't know what prayer has done for me. They will be discouraged just because you left that money and sent them into the battlefield of in real life, right? Out of the safety of the comfort of your zone. In real life, you send them out to explore. You don't know the multiple things that they will care. Think of it as an adventure. They can and whenever you go out, you're having a bit of an adventure because there's so many experiences that you have, okay? So that's the second point. So the first thing I said is don't be afraid to learn from other parents on parenting. I'm sorry. And even talking about learning about other parents from parenting, also don't be afraid to read books. I say to myself, me as a person that works with young people, sometimes read parenting books because I think it's important to do so. Sometimes, and maybe once in a while, once in a blue moon. But how about you as a parent, or learn things that will help me work better with that young person that I'm working with? How about you as a parent? So much you can't read to see different ways of parenting. Please do so. So the first thing, don't be afraid to open yourself up to learning. Learn through books. Learn by observation of other parents. Even learn by conversation. Okay, see and then you yourself can discern what is good and what is not good for you, and go from there. The second thing is learn to pray for your child. Always send them out praying over them. Okay, and then the second thing I say, now let's get to practicality. When you are enrolling that child into school, do make sure to go for visitation first. Okay, visit the school that you're going to, do your research. Even if you're new, you just like, do you know what, just going to this school, going to this school, going to this school. I know, and this is why I say I adopt the rich African parents mentality, or at least the well-educated one. That's the ones I'm talking about. I'm not talking about any rich one. I even put here educated, highly educated if possible. Okay, at least past degree, secondary school level. Yeah, I'm sorry, you have to adopt that higher level way of raising your child here, because they talk among each other. You know, they tell you, oh, this is the school my child is going, this is the feedback. And sometimes I think like schools don't get it, like parents give feedbacks to each other so that they know whether this is where they send their child. I know they do. And they do know it. So this is like the feedback, because with the bullying situation, the woman mentioned the school, and I'm telling you the truth, like, it's important to listen to what other parents are telling you about science schools, okay? So she says like, please talk to them, because sometimes it'd be like, oh well, this one went here and it was fine, but is it like considered one or few people went to it and it was fine? If it's like multiple people, okay, fine, but if it's like few people, use your brain, you know. So if not, go to the school visitation. Obviously know that everyone will be in their best behavior and they'll give you their best students. Presentation matters. So in this situation, use your own thoughts, your own words. Connect to other parents, especially African parents. They will not lie to you, I'm telling you. Other parents will lie to you, but most African parents will not lie to you, okay? They will not lie to you about the schools that they go to. And wherever you see majority of them go, especially I say Nigerian ones, I'm sorry, I don't really know about other African parents. Where you see majority of Nigerian schools go there. Go there, because I'm telling you, based on what I know of Nigerian parents, they are very, very, very active in their children's knowledge. I'm telling you, especially the educated one, though, to get highly educated. Go there, let your child go there. It will benefit them. Your child may not like it, but if it's going to benefit them, I'm talking about myself actually. You know, I didn't like the school my mom took me to, not because the school was bad, just because I wanted to go to a mixed school. But she sent me to an all-girls school, which happened to be quite one of the wonderful ways of introducing me to UK. Because I believe if I went to all mixed school, I would have struggled. Considering I've been in all-girls school majority of my life, I think I would have struggled, because once I left and went to college, the things I saw, it's mixed gender. Yay! So in that way, it can be act as a form of protection. And talking about that, also ask questions to the school about certain things that you have things about. Obviously don't ask them too many things that will make them uncomfortable, but if you have to make them uncomfortable to get what you want, do so. But do your own research online as well, see what the feedbacks are, see the reviews are. Try and build quick relationship with those teachers if you can. I would even go further to, if you can't know every teacher that teaches your child, better for you. Build that just quick rapport. You don't have to be friends with them, just let them know that you know them and they know you. You get what I mean? Because like when you take your child to school, don't just leave them, okay, well, that's my child, and go. Do those things. Don't build relationship with each one. The reason why I say so, it will come into use late in some certain situations in your life. And I said, even if you're not well educated or highly educated, don't be ashamed, or don't be fearful, don't be just open, because here, I would say a little bit unlike Nigeria, the teachers here are more open. I feel like in Nigeria, it's almost like the people that they respect the most is those who are of a good caliber, or for some sort of level of caliber. But here, I find the teachers are more relaxed in that way, so they're not that bad. I even talked about my experience a little bit in a different video when I talked about things immigrants do when they're coming into UK or traveling outside of Nigeria. I'll put the link also below. So yeah, build a quick rapport with them. Another thing is like during that thing, like I spoke about protection. You know, in Nigerian schools, they do have, some of them, not all of them, some of them do have school mothers, especially all girls school. They have school mothers. And if you're living in boarding school, you're going to have a school mother usually. If you don't have a school mother, you're like on your own, to be honest. But you can survive if you know how to. It's not like, it's not a mandatory thing. Not everyone has a school mother. But you just have to have someone that is looking over you. So the idea of a school mother is someone that will be your guide. It's like a mentor in school, basically. But someone that just be a mentor to the younger ones, and someone that will help you through situations that may come to you. But in this UK, you don't have that thing. But you can still adopt the same thing. Don't make it obvious though. If you do have any other students coming into that school that you know, whether you is of a different race or of your race, better your race, and better your race and better your nation, if possible. Please put them under the protection of that person. I'll tell you the reason why. We know when I went to school, I mentioned it there. When I went to school, one of the things I remember the head teacher said, students from Nigeria in this school. Well, the reason why I say put them under protection, because when I went to, when I first started school, when we went to enroll with my mom, the head teacher of the time told us that Nigerian students in that school do well. So she was more than willing to allow me to come into the school, as although I was coming later and enrolled way late. But not that before then, my mom have always been going to that school to tell them about me, that I'm yet to come into the nation, that they so she kind of have put here, well, this is how I say go there. Don't be always relying on it. Go, even if you have to go around the school and just observe the students. My dear, do that. This is especially where in the cases that you came before your child, because that was what took place in my own situation. Yeah, go there and observe them. Even if you see them outside, go see, just see them. What school do you go to? That's called representation. Okay, observe them even not just in school, outside of school. See how they behave outside of school. This is why I even tell, like when I work with young people, I tell them never wear a school uniform to go to stupid places. Go to school, come back, take it off. Please do that. This will go into my second advice. This advice will be for the young people, and I'm only pertaining only to African children, because I feel like there's so much more common values that we have together that I don't find some of them may not. And especially if you are raised in a good family, some of them don't used to go overhead with other people. So this is why, and I also feel like because you guys are the new people and no one will tell you unless someone like me shares with you or your parents tell you. That's another reason why. So yeah, do make sure you go for visitation. As I mentioned, put them under protection. I was mentioning the school mother situation, because just tell them to put them under protection of someone that is respected. That is the most important by her peers, especially if the person is in a different school. What do you call a different school level? Or okay. And the reason why is because if you put them under someone that is also being bullied, guess what? Both of them will be joined together. I'm not joking. No, I'm not joking. So is it better not just leave it? Okay, it's better to leave it all together and put it on someone that cannot protect them or speak for them when situations happen. I say the worst thing is to be in danger and the person that you are meant to be helping you is nowhere to be found, or is also like, don't do that. Okay, so adopt that mentality. As I mentioned, you don't have to be obvious with it. Or overt with it, but adopt that protection mentality, and sometimes put them under the protection of a teacher. This is the reason why you need to go and know the teachers. Go to visitation, go to parents' evening. That was the next point I'm going to say. How do you do all these things? It's making your presence known in the school. This comes to my fourth point or fifth point to this point. So the first one is, I'm just reiterating so that you remember. Don't be able to learn from other people, parents, books and stuff like that on parenting skills. 2, because even the stories that I told, the child they also mentioned like being enrolled, the woman mentioned about being told to enroll to parenting classes. It's not a bad thing. At least know how to people parent here as well. It's not a bad thing to do. Secondly, do go for prayer. Obviously, I mentioned prayer over them and teach them how to pray for themselves. And then finally, I also put enrollment. When you're doing enrollment, ensure you do visitation, ask questions, build rapport with teachers or the school, in their capacity, any capacity you can. And then protection, put them under someone's protection. And this is how you can do that protection, is by making your presence known and felt. Not just coming, known and felt. 2 different words. Known is that they know that you are the parent of that child. Felt is that they know you are impactful in the school. Okay, be a person that they know and feel. This is as I mentioned, adopting the Nigerian high class society way of build, and obviously there is UK one as well. But I'm not advising UK people. I'm advising you that is African coming in here. Okay, I say go to parents' evening, school events and activities if you can. At least don't miss all of them. Go to them. Don't dismiss them. Especially where your child is involved. That child is doing school play, you decide to take a shift. Why? Why can't you? Don't you see your colleagues say, oh, my child is having this thing, can I go, can I take a bit of 1 hour, just take this day off, this afternoon off? Do you see your other race, I would say particularly the white race, who asks for those permissions from their, what do you call it, colleagues? No, colleagues, yeah, and sometimes their manager, if their manager cannot permit it. Even when their dogs die, you think those things are not important? Brain, use your medulla oblongata. Ask for time off. It wouldn't kill you. Tell them what you're going for. There is something I love in this UK is that they are really, majority of them anyways, they really love things to do with family, no matter what you think of them. Like, if you tell them this is what is happening and you keep them updated, I'm telling you, don't be ashamed, don't be afraid to tell them this is what is happening in my life and I'm wondering if you can. I mean, once obviously you need to know, if you can't get it out of your annual leaves or stuff like that, you can get it. There's different things in this place that actually gives opportunities for you to take time off that is not within your annual leave situation. And sometimes managers have the discretion and the authority to grant some leaves. So you can utilize them, you know. I'm telling you. Thank me later, but thank me by liking this video. Thank me by commenting. Okay, that's the way I want you to say thank you. Because if you start applying these things, I'm telling you, your life will change for a drastic thing. Don't be alone in this country. Another thing I mentioned about making your presence known is that if you're invited or you're not invited to something and your child tells you about it and you can see it's something that has impact on your child. Like, for example, let's say, okay, even if the school play or your child gets given an award in school, call them up. Tell them you acknowledge the award. Call that teacher. Call the teacher. You just understand how you're building rapport now. You see how you're making your presence known and felt. Call the teacher and say, thank you so much for this award that you gave to my child. Though I wasn't there, but I appreciate it. And she can even give you more feedback about your child. In the same way, if your child does something wrong and they report to you, don't be one of those people that are always fighting against the teachers. Unless you think your child is being mistreated. That's a whole different ballgame. I'm not even talking about where the teacher or the school is not dealing with your child very well. I'm talking about where it's just a general standard situation, okay? So in this situation, I will even come into that where the school is not dealing with your child well, because this is one of the things that brought me to this video, right? So I'll say, even if it's leave a message with the receptionist and say, hey, let them know whether they like you or not is not your problem. This is the things I have come to learn, you know. And one of the things I say, even the things I've come to learn about having to navigate in situations like this, is through the Bible. It's through the Bible, it's through also the Holy Spirit guiding and inspiring me. See that Psalm 25 where it says, you guide and counsel you, something like that. I pray that and meditate that in my heart, because sometimes when I'm not sure what to do, I ask for him and he always tells me what to do. So leave message. If you don't understand the language, now let's talk about parents that do not understand English or don't understand. Please, you have a child that understands the language, take the child along with you. Let them be your interpreter. The school will not obviously give you interpreters. Let them be your interpreter. If your husband is on the boat, any of your family members, even your cousins that is able to come to with you to parents' evening or any school events, take them along with you and be listening. Obviously, I would say don't be in a country that you don't understand the language at all. And you may find it very interesting if you think that UK people, when they go outside of your nation, they do not understand your language. I find sometimes they just choose not to show you that they understand the language until you have an issue with them. This is where you find it. And I find that interesting because I read the book. I read the book that talks about this thing. And it was a case of where it's an English woman who had an international experience working in Nigeria. And you as a Nigerian is just saying all the different things. And basically, the person that committed the offense was a Nigerian person. And he was obviously, when they were asking questions, the woman told the police her experience, that she has lived in Nigeria a little bit, so she understood the person was from Nigeria, not just based on the words that they were speaking, but also the intonation, and also because the person spoke broken, that was particular to Nigerian way of broken English. Do you see what I'm telling you? So don't be looking at them like, oh, when they come to your nation, my dear, it may be all of them may not, but they will definitely. Why do you think when they have an issue, they know how to come to you with it? So sometimes they pretend. What I'm them saying is, don't be in a flipping nation thinking that, oh, just because this. Learn to understand. If you then choose not to know how to speak it, that's another question. But at least learn to understand a little bit. Do you get? I'm just telling you, that's an expo for you. I'm telling you, don't be thinking they don't know the difference. They may not gather it together, but they can always tell sometimes. They've lived with you for a long time. At least this one had experience of living a bit in Nigeria, which allowed her to know what was being said. So another point I went ahead to talk about is when look into the school homework of your students, child. This is the things I would do. If you don't know the work, obviously just look into it and say, is that what they give to you? Even your child may even laugh and say, Mom, you don't know what you're doing. But one thing they don't know what you're doing there is for them showing that you show interest. Okay? You're showing your child that you care. Are you showing the teacher that you have interest in your child education? Those two are very, very important. Two things that will pertain to your child, because sometimes it may not solve the issues that are happening to you, but at least let your child know. I'll tell you, I also had a experience in school with a peer, not in school, in college at this point, with a peer who was a bullish person. So I remember after the incident, and this is what I'm telling you, it's so important to have these things. If you don't get it, I'm vulnerable, and because you can't do anything about my experience now, because my dear, as I mentioned in my previous video about racism and stuff like that, is I deal with my issues in person. That's why you don't see me coming in. I'm telling you as a story of learning experiences. That's why you don't see me coming in here and telling you, hey, blah, 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 blah. My dear, if it's happening there and I'm able to do it, I will deal with it in person. Okay, that one means that with time, even if things that happen, it doesn't mean you don't have grief and anger and things like that, but at least they fade away and you're no longer angry with them situation. So it's in that situation I remember, because once again I was new to the country, I was relatively new, because that's what I'm talking about. That's why I'm making this video, really pertaining to those who are new, and sometimes maybe the OGs that still never got it, you know. So basically, I had the issue with a particular student in my class. And now later realized this is why it's really good to do an introspective reflection. There was something that she was dealing with, which is jealousy. And I'll come to that aspect of jealousy when you don't know that happens with young people and peers. And I don't understand why she was jealous. Every time I wonder what are you jealous about? Because my life, my lifetime, I never reach where I wanna go. I am started. Bloody heck. Anywho, so because it makes no sense. Like, why would someone be mean to you for no reason? That part never makes sense to me. Anywho, this is what basically happened. So I had an issue. I'm not going to narrate what happened, but I had an issue with her. And I remember a friend of mine, I'm coming to you. I'm coming, don't worry, I'm coming. A friend of mine told me to report that to my mom. On normal cases, I don't report issues to my mom. I like to solve them myself, or just deal with them internally. If you're a child like that, we can relate. But in this situation, I'm telling you, it's not always going to be helpful, you know? And then at least you'll let your mom know what you're going through, so that you're not so that you're not acting out of nothing, and they're like, what is going on with this child, and you're acting out, they're acting with you, and you know. So my friend told me to report that to my mom, so I did. And my mom came to school or college during parents evening and said, reported, like, brought the issue. Now, whether she wasn't necessarily able to solve it, but guess what it showed me? When I saw my mom defending me the first time in my life in public, I don't really care whether it was, you know, sometimes you think it's a case of win or lose. No, what it gave me 2%. This is what I'm telling you, what it does for your child that you do not know. It showed me not just care, that my mom cared, but I know she will stand for me if whatever comes with it. It's not a case of where you're only talking about, and then when it comes to school authority or people that of a different race, you can no longer speak for your child. Because I do see that, respect yourself. I do see that with some parents, where it's like, okay, with other parents, you now start blaming your child on towards now. Onto what? Make it make sense. Onto what? You know? Like, don't do that. And best the friend I had was an African person. And I was so glad. This is why it's important to mention people that are educated. It's very important. And people that have come from a good family and have a care and loving family. You know? It was very important for me. So that was what it showed. And they also showed the school. And I also had an issue with the teacher. I will tell you, I had an issue with the teacher as well. The teacher, the problem, she didn't know the teacher that she was reporting me. She actually, the teacher that she was reporting me to. I also had an issue with the teacher. And I told her. I'll tell you what happened to that teacher in a different video. But that would be a video for the young people, not for parents. This one is particularly for parents. But the one I will do for the young people is later on. So, and then, yeah, I reported it to her. I told her about it. I didn't read it. I told her. So, well, she addressed it in the school thing. But what it does show is that, to me, it showed that she cared. And it showed the school that my mom is an active parent. Yeah? The fact that you don't see her doesn't mean she's not active. But let them not only feel your parents when issues come. That's what I'm trying to come here. Let them feel your presence when you don't have, when things are just happening normal. Like school activities, this is where you also get to see other parents, not just only when you're picking them up from school. You see other parents, you get to interact with them, and you have something that you can build relationship with them on. And this is where, when they say parents form cliques, this is how it happens though. Like, how am I going to be friends with you when I haven't seen other things apart from picking up your child and going? Okay? When you do have these things that you do in school, talk to the other parents. It's not a bad thing. Have a friend or two as a parent in the school. As a child a parent that has a child in the school. It's not a bad thing. I'm telling you. Another reason why I say so is because I just listened to another Nigerian teacher who, this was last year. She was on last year or this year, January. She was narrating her story of how she felt racism and pushed out of school because of parental cliques. I'm telling you, as a Nigerian, you can't afford to be just like boo 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 if you want a better result for your child. Unless you want your child, I mean, obviously you are raised as a Nigerian child, which is, again, I will come to when I'm talking about the young people, where obviously we don't really have a problem with your child in school, because, I mean, by the fear of your parents, you don't need to respect your children, your teachers. Okay, so basically, I'm telling you, all these things do happen in school. It will help you a whole lot. And remember, I said again, I went ahead to say, stop isolating yourself from your community. Stop it. Stop, especially those who are from your nation. I know some parents says that, oh, these things are things that people of my community did to me when I was in this nation and this and that. You now have a child. You now have a child. Stop doing that, because if you think it will not benefit you, it will benefit your child immensely. And I speak from experience. Stop being selfish, I say here, with such decisions, unless he sees where he has either harmed your family and you can take them out there. This relationship is really important when you're surviving another race. I say even use other people that comes into this nation. Don't you see how they hover each other? Don't you know that hovering is a form of protection? No matter the issues that they have within their own race, it's a form of protection. I've known parents that have had issues with their own particular race, but they have not necessarily, you will not necessarily come and be talking nonsense about their own race in front of them and they be quiet. But some of you don't used to have that sense. I'm telling you, okay? It doesn't matter what your experience with your own nation comes from, even if you hate them the most. It should not permit you to be speaking negatively about them in public. I've had so much experiences of this, and at this point, I think I'll just put those people down as rubbish. I don't even respect you at that point. Because, and especially when it's not warranted, I'm not talking about when people are talking about being interviewed and giving experience. Even at that, it still used to be, you still need to use your senses, you know. But in situations like where unwarranted, I've seen it not even just with parents, but with other students. Unwarranted, you're talking nonsense about another person of your own nation. Unto what now? Unwarranted though. To please, and you're talking to it about to another race. To please who? You're only giving them information and ammunition against you. That's literally what you're doing. You're very foolish. And even talking about, like, let me just go quickly back to protection. It comes under protection. You know, when I told you I have, even in secondary school, I had one silly issue with a student who just thought she can do whatever. I literally defended myself. I did, you know me, as I mentioned, I'm not the type that will ever come and share with you the issues I have with other people. That's not necessarily my nature unless it's beyond me. But even if it's beyond me, I'll try to solve it by myself most of the time. I'll just hold it in. But in that situation, I just address the girl like quick and immediate like that. Don't do that. I will talk about it a little bit more in a different video pertaining to the young people. Guess what? Who came from, like, literally, I was walking down the hallway. All the black girls in that school literally came and said, okay, what happened? I was like, oh, it's like, especially there was particular, you know, if you see this video, if you've ever watched me, you know you. She came to me, okay, what happened? He's like, oh, I was like, I was like, what? Because I didn't know whatever incident that took place between me and in the small room has gone wide around our year. Protection. They're like, listen, if anything else happened here, let us know. I was like, okay. Oh, she was like, let us know, yeah? I was like, yeah. Literally, I think throughout her day, they keep saying, are you okay? Are you okay? I was like, I didn't know what protection looked like until I came to, well, I do, because I went to school in Nigeria. But at least for my own, that was my first time experiencing protection from a black space perspective. So, I was like, okay, all right, no problem. I mean, I never reported the issue to anyone because, I mean, as I mentioned, I didn't tell them. It was the people that did the thing where I spoke about it in school, and then they went through the whole year. And then the next time people were asking me what happened. I was like, literally were asking me, are you okay? Are you okay? I was like, yeah, all right. So, one thing about protection, and also this is what I'll talk about a little bit more for the young people. Learning to build peer relationship with your peers. It's really important. Even if you're not their friend, be in cordial relationship with the majority of them. Especially those who are strong. Yeah?
Hi guys, I was led to do. Hi everyone, I was led to just
Hi
do this
everyone, welcome to
recording
my channel.
in
It's
this
C Ogechi.
part of
Welcome.
this
Welcome to
video
Talkinsen, in a
for
channel
the
where we
very
talk sense into
reason
religious,
that
social, spiritual
it was
matters,
put in my
as well as
heart
give
to
some life
do so,
advice
because
that
after recording it, it was brought
sustains
to my heart to
over the course of time.
further explain this
So,
point and
welcome to
stress it
Talkinsen.
out. So to me,
This
this would mean
video,
that it's
I'm
quite
going to
important
address
that
two
you really do
topics.
pay
One
attention
is
and
about
listen if you're
pretty
someone that is
privilege,
hearing
which
my
I've
voice
touched
and
upon on my channel
listening to this
before,
video.
and I'm
So
going to
the key thing about this is
put
I'm trying to
it
say is be
on
an active
the, what do you
stakeholder
call it?
wherever you
I'm going to
are,
put the link below.
especially within the school
So,
or
and it's still
any
inspired by the same
premises
person
your
it was
child is
inspired
involved
by.
with or things they are
And
doing. I know sometimes
I'm
you
just
pay
going
for
to
the
say
child to do
this.
things and then they do it and they don't really ask them or find out so much of how it's
Beautiful,
going.
or the spectrum of good looks
That's
in
the
terms of
same thing
physical
some
attributes
people
and
are
looks,
applying in
it has
school.
different
Don't be
spectrum.
afraid
There
to
is no
talk to
one
them
umbrella
about the
it
things
falls
that they
on.
do in school.
It's really
And in
important
terms
that
of being an
one
active stakeholder,
finds
this
where
is
they
the
fall on
example that
and
was put
accept
in
and
my heart to
appreciate
share.
it.
I
Okay?
wanted to write
I'm
it
telling
out
you
before, but I
for
was like, let
free
me just speak it
so
out.
that one does
So
not
think of this as an
find
example.
themselves in a
So
deep-seated
imagine if you're a business person, I want
cycle
to use a business mindset to do this because that was the
ruminating
example
on
given to me
something
whilst I
that they
was
can't
doing other
control
things,
is how
especially
it
after
is.
recording this.
There are different
So
reasons why some
imagine
women
if
are found
you
more
are a
beautiful
business
than you.
person,
There are
yeah,
different reasons
and
why
you
some
have, let's
women
say, for
are
example,
more
80%
um,
or yeah,
sexually
80% of your
attractive
clients
than you. Even if you look like a
prefer a
bombshell, 10 out of
particular
10 minus nothing,
black
you
or
will
blue
see
bag,
a
and
man
this
go for
is what
someone
they
that
have
you
been
consider
purchasing.
as
Even all your customers
five.
all purchase this
I may even
thing.
so minus one
And
out
then
of
you
a
have maybe
person's
this one customer
score.
that
There are so
comes
many
every now and then
reasons
to buy
one finds one
the bag.
attractive,
Yeah, the
and
same
I'm the
color of
type that
bag,
really is
no
a very
problem. So everyone
good
is
at
buying the same
accepting
bag.
where I
All
stand
of the
on
customers
society. I
are
know where
buying
I
the same
stand in
bag, and
different
you have
spaces
this
of
one
people's life as I
strangler
grow older.
customer I call,
um
like those people that
I
just
know
come
where I
every
stand in
now and
people
then
when it
to
comes to
purchase
friendship
the
relationship. I
bag.
know where I stand very much in
Um,
people's lives.
compare
Now
this to
I'm a good
people that
reflector,
are
I'm a good
loyal to
analyzer, and I'm a
customers to you
good,
that consistently
I'll
come to
say,
get the bag from you.
person that can
And
meditate
then
on
maybe
someone's
one
joy.
of the days, the
If you're
customer
hearing
that
noise,
comes every
please
now and
pardon. I
then
have a neighbor like to
comes to
shout a
you
lot.
and say,
So
"Oh, Madam, I
Pardon
don't
it.
really like, or
Okay,
sir,
so
whichever madam or
if
sir,
you're going to
whichever
hear
one.
the noise,
I
that's
don't
again
really like just that
another
you have
thing. So please do pardon
only
it.
two
And again,
colors.
I said I don't
I
live alone,
think
so there are
it
people
should
that
be
live with
doing
me.
maybe
So
gray
that's
colors
another
or
thing.
something color of a bag. And
So as
based
I
on
mentioned,
your own
there are different ways
observation
to look into
and your
this.
own market evaluation, you have seen that
Okay,
when you
the
have
first
tried to
thing that
do,
you
perhaps
must
you've
know
tried to move out to a
is
different color
to
of
first of all
bag,
look
it
at
wasn't
yourself
selling
in the
too well.
mirror,
But you see this
identify
particular
yourself on the
customer of
beautiful
yours that
spectrum,
just come
what
to
you think
say,
about
do you
yourself.
know,
It's
I
not
think I'll
everything
definitely
else
like a
anyone
gray
else has
bag in
said
this thing.
about
Just
you.
get me for me one day.
Write
As I
down what
mentioned,
you
this is not
think
a
about
regular
yourself. Look
customer.
at the
This is not a
different
loyal
ways people
customer to
describe
you.
themselves:
It's
good
just
looking,
someone that comes every now and
beautiful,
then and
pretty,
perhaps goes
okay,
elsewhere to purchase
cute.
other things.
In between,
So
there's always in
thinking
between
of from a
each
business
one, to be
mindset.
honest.
Now,
Find
would
your
you
own
change
description. Sit down and learn to
your
describe
whole
yourself. I'm
bag
going to do a different
system
video that'll
for
help
that person?
you to learn to describe yourself, because
Would you change
I'm
the
really
color of bag
studying
that you
people.
buy
Whenever I see
or
people, I'm
the
always
ones that you're
describing
selling
them in the
for the
terms of
person
how
that
my
has
eyes see them. So
requested for a
it's
gray
really
bag?
important to learn to
You
describe
would
yourself
not. There are different
to
ways you can approach
yourself
that situation.
before other
First, you
people
will
describe
obviously
you. If you're
consider your
suffering
main
from any
clients.
insecurity,
They are the people that are
I
consistently
think
purchasing
it's
from you
important to
and adding
acknowledge
value
it
to your market.
and just keep working
Therefore,
on
they
yourself.
would
I'll
be
tell
your
you
first
one day you will
priority to
showcase yourself
serve,
in a way
right?
that insecurity
And then
you
the
challenge
person
it,
that is
and then
your
it kind
strangler
of
customer, I've called them, that's just like
goes.
the
I
people
wouldn't
that
say it goes away.
comes
It's
every
just
now
that when
and
you
then
still challenge it,
in
you
that
accept it,
situation. It's
or
just
when you
simply
challenge it, it may
someone that
actually be
desires a
that
gray
you are the
bag.
only one who
There's
was
two things
seeing
that could
yourself in
happen
that
in
way.
that state. You may run
So
the risk of having
please
that
bear
gray
in
bag
mind.
and then the
So
person
the
never
first
comes
thing I
back to
want
buy
you
it.
to know is to notice
Then you run the risk of
pretty,
adding the gray
beautiful,
bag and
anything
then
that comes like that.
what's it
Each
called?
one
She
comes with its
sees
privilege.
it
You
or she
know,
doesn't
there are
come on
people
time to
that
buy
have
it and
really
then the
cute
thing
face,
maybe
and in
has
some
issues
certain
and then stuff like that.
campaign, it's
Or she
those cute
buys it and then
faces
it
that
was
they
just
need. If
her
you're
that
looking
bought
for
the gray
young,
bag and
friendly,
no one else
and
bought the
stuff
gray
like
bag.
that,
So
and
you
then
have a
if
bunch
you're
of gray bags
looking
lying
for
around
someone that have
whilst
like
most
that
of your customers only
voluptuous
prefer just the
body,
ones that you are already serving them,
sexy,
which is
nice
good.
people that are looking for a
Now,
campaign
in
that
this
promotes that
situation,
will look for those
put it
people.
as
They
a
will not look for
parental
that person that you think
perspective
is a pretty face.
where
They're looking for a person that
if it's a
has all
only
that package.
the
Maybe it still has a little
certain
bit
type
of
of
good looking
family
to them,
that
but
or
not
parents
necessarily in
that they
terms of
see
what the world
support
considers
the
beautiful.
school
So
in different
sometimes people
capacities
are
or
just looking
come
for
to see
acceptability.
their
What
students.
I'm kind of
When
liking about
issues happen, even
advertisements
when good
nowadays
things
is like the
happen,
diversity
I
of
would not lie to
individuals
you. The
that they are
same way you
using
tapped out that
in
mindset, not
promoting
even
their
just from a
adverts.
business
And
perspective.
you
Think
see
of it in
different
your own real
facial
life. You
features,
do that.
not
That's all
just
of
in
us do
terms of
this,
race,
consciously
but
or
how people
unconsciously.
look, where
That would be
different hair colors.
unconscious
I'm seeing more
situation where they
normal
only
people. I
serve
think there's
those who
always
they
been
know
normal
are
people.
going to
Perhaps we
come.
never
And
paid
as someone who
attention.
has
But if you're only
who
looking
has
at
had
advert
similar
that comes
experience in terms
deals
of
with
things, you see
beauty
those
brands,
active
why would they
families,
promote
it's the ones
something
that you
that
kind
does
of
not
want to do so much to support.
um,
Especially the ones that are supporting your
apply to
work.
their own
Yeah?
branding?
That's the
If
people that
they
you would
think
want to support the
to
most,
their
their
own
children the
audience,
most.
because
It
at the
is
end of the
some
day, is the bottom line.
underlying
They're trying to see sell something, so they are going
thing
to
that
take a
happens.
face that they
It's
think they
human
can
nature.
sell for them.
So,
Whether that face
however, you
sells
can
or
change
not
the
is
narrative,
another
even
question.
using
But
that
that's something
gray
that
bag
they will
situation.
consider
It
first
may
of
be
all.
a case you
So note
observe that,
where you come
okay,
from and
I think
accept it.
there is a
I'm really
diversity.
good at
Again,
accepting
once
where I
again, it
can
depends on
stand.
how you
I'll give
approach
you
it.
an example. And
Okay?
it's not a bad
You
thing to
can still
feel
leave
some
that
sort
gray
of
bag if you're a business owner. So that
how
personally
would I
like the
say,
gray bag
some
to
sort
be
of
having that gray bag. It kind of provides
I don't know how to
inclusivity,
describe the
inclusivity
emotion,
and
but you know,
diversity,
like when you're
but that doesn't
like
necessarily mean you change your whole
I don't know
system
how do you
because
say, how
of
do
them,
you, that
right?
like kind of,
Because they are
oh,
not your
I wish it
majority
could be, I
customer.
wish,
But
like I wish it
there
could be
could be a
different
situation
feeling.
if you are the parents who is this
It's not a
person that
bad thing
comes
to
every
feel
now
it,
and
and
then,
it's
and
not a bad thing. There's
let's say you're the
something
gray bag
a video someone says that
type of
we should
customer,
recognize that
and
everyone
then
gets jealous, no
there is a
matter
way
even the
to
one that
also
you think is a
apply your
bombshell
own
or pretty.com.
influence in this situation.
Everyone has
You
some
may
sort
just
of
simply
jealousy
the only
about
way
each
you
other
come
because
is
everyone
where
is missing something
they
about
someone other
themselves.
people see
I
you
said
carrying
a
that
bit
gray
in
bag.
my
Yeah?
video about,
If
I
other
said it in
customers
a
don't
video where I
never
was
see
talking
you carrying
about
that gray bag or you not have
loving
it,
Igbo men
how
are
would they
true,
know that that gray bag is is also
then
looking
they
good,
also in the
right? See how you're making an
privilege video,
influence,
which
right?
I'll
Because
also
now
link
they
below,
see you, you're visible,
is
right?
some people are
Visibility
so good
matters,
looking
right?
according to some
And then,
people
yeah, they
eyes,
see, and
yeah,
then
but
they
those
say,
people can
okay,
never tell
madam,
those
I
people they
think
are
that
good
grey bag
looking.
will be
I
good
feel
for
like
us.
if
So
in
do
this
you want
world
to
we're
add it
able
to our
to
thing?
open our mouth
The
and
other
help
majority
describe each other
customers
in positive
gradually
ways,
maybe
that
start
could be
warming up to the
helpful
grey
so
bag,
that
which they
people will
haven't
not be
seen
feeling
and how it works
insecure.
before,
I'm the type of
right?
that if I see you
So
doing
this is
something
how I'm
nice,
talking about that
or at
point
least you
of
look good in my
influence,
eyes,
being a
yeah,
stakeholder in
I'll
any
not hesitate to
situation that
tell
your
you.
child
I
find
don't know
themselves,
how my mouth
sorry, in
opens
the
that be
school that your child
telling you,
find
oh my
him or
gosh, you're the most.
herself in, our children,
Listen,
if
I
you
don't know
have
why, but I'm trying to
children
bring that
in
back in
school.
because I find that
So
some
in that
people
situation, this is what I'm talking
kind of
about, being
trying to
an
use that
active
against
stakeholder. be
me
influential. That's
sometimes, index to
influence doesn't
compliment
have to
them,
be
rather than them
like
just being
by fire by
appreciative and
force.
taking
It's
it like
just
that
there's
too.
something subtle like
They
that.
start
Things that
thinking
you
that
do
now
that is
because you
seen
give them
and visible
compliment, their
to
head should be
others
like
that they
A7.
can
Forget.
emulate and see.
Respect yourself.
Okay, that's really where it is. And another
I
way you can
mean,
even
it's to
change that
boost your
system
it
or
works.
change
Yes, it
the
gives boost
business
of
owner's
confidence. But
mind
when you use that
of
boost of
having
confidence,
more
now try to
greenback
oppress
and
another person.
introducing it to
That's
other
why I have
customers.
problem.
Is
Thank you
another
very
thing is
much.
just telling them, showing maybe showing a
So
picture,
the
showing
next thing
something
I'm
on how it looks,
speaking about
and also
is
inviting what's
a
it called, making
story
yourself known to them,
about me and my
and
phone.
perhaps even be
You
more
know, as I
regular
mentioned to
as a
you, I'm
customer.
very, very, very,
In
very
that way,
comfortable with
if they
my
now
life
see your
now,
visibility,
and
they
has
see that
always
you are
been really,
also part of
I
it. Doesn't mean that
believe,
you can't shop
because I
elsewhere,
really
but
understand
they
that
just see
in
that you are
each
someone that
space and
anything, if you
places,
need this
there are
way back, you're
different
going to
people
come
that
to them,
accept me
right? They have
and
the
people that do
opportunity
not
to then
accept
build
me,
that
whether
relationship with
based on
you,
my looks,
and
my
perhaps when they see how
personality,
good it's selling,
my
and if you
anything.
can
People
bring
that
more people
will
to
like
them
you.
to
That's my
buy the
theory
gray
in
bag,
life. Oh.
guess what?
So
They
let
may
me give
add
you an
it,
example.
increase the
So
order of gray
I
bag
once had a
and add
very
it
good
to the whole
friend,
collection.
yeah,
So that's another way. So I
and
mentioned how you can
me
influence
and
your
this
other
friend, whenever
stakeholders in this
we
situation,
go
will be
out,
parents,
right,
to make a change within the system
I
that you
find
find
that
yourself in. And I
like
also
when
mentioned how you can
people are
influence the
looking
business
at
owner, who is the
someone they find attractive,
maybe the
this
school
person, I'll say,
authorities and
looks more like
teachers and
a
stuff
mixed
like
race,
that,
although she wouldn't
to
describe
make an
herself in that way,
influence and
but
change
she is.
things that you think needs to be
So
changed within the school system that you find yourself in.
then
Basically, it's
put
just a
yourself in that
principle of
image of a
life,
mixed
really,
race
that
girl,
no
light
matter
skin,
how you feel it,
mixed race
school
girl,
is
very
itself
light,
is
like
I
close
like
to
the way
white,
it's a community of its own,
closer
as
to
well as
white
any
skin
other space,
tone.
work life, every
So
other
very
space
fair
that
in
you find
complexion.
yourself in.
So put yourself in
We
that
all
image.
work
So
in
this
harmony.
one
It's all
is a very good
functional
friend of mine.
things. So if
And
we
then
look
there
at it
is
from
me.
that
If you
functional
see me,
perspective, I
look
think,
at the image I'm
and I'm
showing
hoping
you.
that you can
If
see
you
that
don't see the image, my dear,
um
go to my profile. You
to
see
be an
my
active parent is
profile. You
not that
see other
difficult.
videos.
It's
Perhaps
just a
that you
case
get
of
to see
showing
the
up,
face that is
presenting,
talking.
representing.
Okay,
Okay.
so
Obviously, also, even when the
yeah,
school asks you for
so
feedback,
basically,
please do complete them. That
whenever
also
we
helps
go out,
promote
I
their
find that
school. So
some
I'm
type
telling
of
you,
men find her
small things
quite.
that you don't
All
see
men
like
find
this.
her
I'm telling
attractive.
you,
Don't
as
get me
someone
wrong, but
that
there are
sees
some
those
type of
things,
men that
they do
really,
have an influence. Okay. I know
I
some
wouldn't
people
say
say,
fantasize,
unless
but
there is
like
a case where you
go
feel
out
like,
of their
listen, I'm not
way
going to say anything
to
positive about this
show
school. Um,
deep
but then how are you going to
likeness or attraction.
refer to that
And most
feedback?
of
It's
those
still a
people were
feedback. I'm
black
not saying
men,
don't give it. The school still requires
dark
that
skinned black men
feedback.
to be
But
more
just how you frame it to
precise,
be important
or
for
darker skinned black men.
yourself and for your child in that school.
And
It's very important to know how to
and
write
then
that
for me,
feedback that is
I'm
important,
fair,
so that it
so
doesn't,
at least that's how people
it brings
describe
about
me.
the positive change or
So
any change that you want it to bring about.
and
These things are things
me,
that we all learn
as we work together,
along the way. As I mentioned to
they
you,
always find
I'm
her
only looking
like
at this
more
from someone that
attractive,
is
I
now
think,
having
because
that,
based on
being
their
the
own
other side of the
inclination and
coin.
their looks,
That's really where
that's
I'm
who they
looking
look
at it
at,
from, and
right?
also just looking
And
at both sides of the coins.
I
So I'm
remember,
just giving
based
you
on my
this
own
advice. I
observation,
hope
I
this
said to her,
helps.
like, how come they always
Okay,
like
thank you so
find it?
much.
Because me,
Let's
I'm not
continue with
open.
the video.
I'm not an insecure person.
Unless you want your I mean, obviously you are raised as a Nigerian child, which is again I will come to when I'm talking about the young people, where obviously we don't really have a problem with your child in school, because I mean, by the fear of your parents, you don't need to respect your children, your student, your teachers. Okay, so basically I'm telling you, all these things will happen in school. It will help you a whole lot. And remember, I said again, I went ahead to say, stop isolating yourself from your community. Stop it. Stop, especially those who are from your nation. I know some parents says that, oh, these things are things that people of my community did to me when I was in this nation and this and that. You now have a child. You now have a child. Stop doing that, because if you think it will not benefit you, it will benefit your child immensely. And I speak from experience. Stop being selfish, I say here, with such decisions, unless he sees where it has either harmed your family and you can take them out there. This relationship is really important when you're surviving another race. I say even use other people that comes into this nation. Don't you see how they hover each other? Don't you know that hovering is a form of protection? No matter the issues that they have within their own race, it's a form of protection. I've known parents that have had issues with their own particular race, but they have not necessarily, you will not necessarily come and be talking nonsense about their own race in front of them and they be quiet. But some of you don't used to have that sense. I'm telling you, okay? It doesn't matter what your experience with your own nation comes from, even if you hate them the most. It should not permit you to be speaking negatively about them in public. I've had so much experiences of this, and at this point, I think I'll just put those people as down as rubbish. I don't even respect you at that point. Because, and especially when it's not warranted. I'm not talking about when people are talking about being interviewed and giving experience. Even at that, it still used to be, you still need to use your senses, you know. But in situations like where unwarranted, I've seen it not even just with parents, but with other students. Unwarranted, you're talking nonsense about another person of your own nation. Unto what now? Unwarranted though. To please, and you're talking to it about to another race. To please who? You're only giving them information and ammunition against you. That's literally what you're doing. You're very foolish. And even talking about, like, let me just go quickly back to protection. It comes under protection. You know, when I told you I have, even in secondary school, I had one silly issue with a student who just thought she can do whatever. I literally defended myself. You know me, as I mentioned, I'm not the type that will ever come and share with you the issues I have with other people. That's not necessarily my nature unless it's beyond me. But even if it's beyond me, I'll try to solve it by myself most of the time. I'll just hold it in. But in that situation, I just address the girl like quick and immediate like that. Don't do that. I will talk about it a little bit more in a different video pertaining to the young people. Guess what? Who came from me? Like literally, I was walking down the hallway. All the black girls in that school literally came and said, okay, what happened? I was like, oh, it's like especially there was particular, you know, if you see this video, if you've ever watched me, you know she came to me, okay, what happened? It's like, I was like, I was like, what? Because I didn't know whatever incident that took place between me and in the small room has gone wide around our year. Protection. They're like, listen, if anything else happened here, let us know. I was like, okay. He's like, oh, she was like, let us know, yeah? I was like, yeah. Literally, I think throughout the whole day, they keep saying, are you okay? Are you okay? I was like, I didn't know what protection looked like until I came to, well, I do, because I went to school in Nigeria. But at least for my own, that was my first time experiencing protection from a black space perspective. So, I was like, okay. All right, no problem. I mean, I never reported the issue to anyone because, I mean, as I mentioned, I didn't tell them. It was the people that did the thing went and spoke about it in school, and then they went through the whole year. And then the other time, people were asking me what happened. I was like, literally were asking me, are you okay? Are you okay? I was like, yeah, all right. So, one thing about protection, and also this is what I'll talk about a little bit more for the young people. Learning to build peer relationship with your peers. It's really important. Even if you're not their friend, be in cordial relationship with the majority of them. Especially those who are strong. Yeah? Respect them. This one, in our school, you don't fight. You mad, eh? We don't fight in our school, oh. You're mad, eh? Come and try it. But, you know, by their presence and their way of carrying themselves, they are well respected in the school. Peers. There are some peers that are more respected than you. Respect it. So, yeah, basically, utilize them. You can be of your benefits. Build relationship with them. Just rapport. I'm not saying be their friends. You never probably be their friend, but like, be a bit of rapport with them. Okay? So, yeah, that was about that. Stop allowing your... And when I talk about nation, other people of your nation, it will help your child to know some experiences that they're having in their own situation. They're not alone. They are not alone, my dear. If that's like, see how the reason why I shared my own story to tell them like, baby, you're not alone on this thing, and they can help like calm things down. It shows them that they are not alone, okay? And they can even share some of those things and laugh it out. I'm telling you, as someone that has benefited from them. When I came here, my mom also was already part of a Nigerian group, not a Nigerian group, like my cultural group. Anyways, and obviously when they were having events, we went, and then slowly, obviously, I was quite shy and just not spoke to anyone. I didn't speak to anyone for a bit. Yeah, and guess what? So they were doing dancing practice, and then one of them said to me, I did this on my blog actually. I don't know, I would probably put it back again on my blog because I've changed my blog thing multiple times. Talkinsen blog.post or something like that. I'll put the link below. Look out for them. I do write some good things, so don't bear with. I'll post it back up. Okay? Just a simple act of, do you want to be part of us? When they straight the way I jumped over, start like me, don't talk twice. Are you dancing twice? Don't do that. Don't do that. I'm there. This began my experiences because anything else I had in school, I already had a positive relationship outside with people on my own place. So Whether I had friends in school or didn't have friends in school didn't matter to me, because I had friends outside with people of mine, people, okay? So at least I had a friend. So, and then one friend turned into 2 friends, you know, and this were a long-time friendship, don't get it wrong. So basically what I'm telling to you, you are doing your child a disservice if you keep neglecting yourself and neglecting your child out of experiences with their own fellow culture. That's stupid. Very stupid. It may come a time when they don't want to. Let the child be the one that doesn't want to. But don't do that. It will also help build their confidence in who themselves, who they are, and their self-identity. There are so many things that will do for you, your child. And for you as well. If you see your child enjoying it, I hate it when I see parents. Trust me, I despise it with everything in me. When I see parents take their children out of experiences that will benefit them just because they are no longer blah, blah, blah. Like, don't do that. You're doing your child a disservice. If you don't like the place, just let the person child be going. As long as it's safe and they're happy going there, when they let them be going, obviously keep an eye and monitoring eye on it. So, as I mentioned, you help your child in this space where they are not in their homeland to develop holistically and be happy. I said also, if you can, enroll your child or register them in youth clubs. Youth work. Thank you. I've worked young multiple times. Yeah, worked in youth work as well. I still kind of do. Enroll them in youth club, youth group. If your church has one, do one. If you have one outside of your community, enroll them in groups that are going to help them, that support their youth and well-being. And talking about groups, I do have a program that I'm still promoting, hoping to get clients for. That is called it's for youth well-being. It's called My Friend Group, which I will be advertising as long as the fundraising I'm doing for Mercy Ship. I haven't forgotten, okay? For you to enroll your child, it's an online based thing. So if you are happy just having your child enroll into this, please holla at me. I'll put my number below as well. Call up. I'll put it in my contact stuff. Please call up if you want to enroll your child, okay? So basically what I'm saying here is that enroll them in groups that will help them and benefit them, okay? Like My Friend Group, which is a group that helps young people who are feeling social isolation, having some level of low mental health issues like anxiety and stuff like that, and people that want to build their confidence, develop in their self-identity and know who they are, develop and also support their spiritual journey. I'm not like against it, because obviously you can tell I'm a very spiritual girl, I'm a religious girl. So yeah, any of those things you want, please let me know. I'll put my number below, and also yeah, I'll put the number below, so just call me and let me know. All right, second to the last point I may mention is balance their exposure to UK and your home country. Trust me, if you fail in striking this balance, your child will struggle in peer relationship and confidence. And the reason why I say this is because you are in UK. You cannot only be watching and doing things that are based on your culture. Allow them to watch things that are of Western culture and also of UK, particularly if you're living in UK. Because what it will allow the child to know is how UK manners looks like, how UK talk, how UK social relationship looks like. Even if you're looking at CBBS, please use them. Some of them, they do like shows like, you know, like I've forgotten. There's so many shows that like Tracy Beaker. I used to watch a little bit of that, although I was past that age of it. I used to watch it because at least it allowed me to, what it has allowed me, even in my work as a youth worker now, is to see the perspective of children at that age. Thank you. You never know where those things will come into place for you. So do so. Balance that thing. Balance it. Don't only allow them to expose in UK, because then they'll just be focused on trying to be. But if you have the strike a balance, if you're able to strike a balance, it will ensure that the child has a viewpoint, a whole viewpoint of who they are, okay? So they can adapt about the UK and the Nigerian identity. I know some of them, when they come, they just want to throw away everything that concerns them. They even throw away their name. They may throw you away as well. They don't want to associate or let people know they come from. That all comes with lack of self-confidence and identity issues. So please help them strike a balance. And final step, I say, is finally stop looking the situation through the lens you grew up, okay, or the country that you grew up in, and base your decisions on that. If your child is telling you something, believe them. Okay, you are in UK, so look through the lens of UK. Stop saying, oh, but when I was in school, my teacher did that, it wasn't here. You're no longer in school. You're not your child. I remember when I was telling a student, I was like, yeah, that is so easy. I think you can do it. She's like, but miss, that's because you finished school. I was like, yep, that whole makes sense, because now I'm in a mental space to understand the things that they were teaching me in school. Do you get? So see it from the child's perspective, because that's what allowed. This is why I say be open. I even learn from the children themselves. Okay, there are so many things you can learn from them. I mean, this advice is not going to be cover everything, but it covers a whole lot so far. So if there are any other advice you have for yourself, follow it. Okay, please and pretty please do these things, and trust me, you will see the relationship with your child change. You will see how things progress for you in UK in managing them. Stop using work to avoid problems. I think some of you may even use shifts, like I have to work every single time. Make time for your family. I know you have to feed them. Trust me, they will not die. They will not die. If you fed them once, they wouldn't die. You know, sometimes what they require is just your presence rather than your present. I learned that working with young people. Sometimes what they require is just simply your presence rather than what you can give them. Okay? Even the little things, going out with them, having fun, it create that space. It doesn't matter what age they are in, as long as they are under 18 years old, please do those things for them. Trust me, you will see so much differences happen in your life. Okay? I think I'm closing off now. If I remember anything, later, I will not share it. I mean, if it didn't share now, it didn't share later. I wouldn't share later. So I hope with these few viewpoints of mine, you've been able to understand and not to be confused on how to raise your child better in UK. Okay? Don't be afraid to expose yourself to others' race in the UK. It may even be of your benefit, you know. Don't be afraid of that. Don't be afraid. There is nothing, and stop being afraid of safeguarding issues. I was even saying to the guys, because I did a video already about this woman's particular issue. I think I'll still post it. The one I talked about, the Scotland one. I'll still post it because I thought I was going to cover those things here, but not all of them I covered. Some of them I covered, but like I'll still post it. So please stop being afraid of safeguarding. It ain't that serious. The key is that they are not going to take your child if your child loves you, if your child has sense. Okay, I know that there is jealousy within friendship in this country. Please, sometimes some people, I don't even care, even in Nigeria, even in anywhere, some people, when they see a tight unit family, sometimes they might put the, things on it, you know, they can encourage you and you, everything, prakata. I'm telling you, I don't care. Sue me if you want. There are some children and some family members, not even just in children, even adults, where they see a unity in family, not because of anything, they just want to keep it in asunder. Before you know it, your child start acting, I can't do. And then, everything come out for, okay? And you as a child, as I mentioned, empathize with your, I did this already in a different video, but like I have yet to post it. Learn to empathize with your parents. Your parents are there for you. If you, especially with the case of this type of person, ask them of their experiences. You don't know what these people have gone through in life, you know. Especially in this country, where they are coming to here, you don't know how they come through. Ask them of their own experiences. Be empathizing is really what I'm saying. Anywho, that is the end of this video. I am raising to raise £100 for this charity. Please, 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 I'm begging. About me, or when the Biko no, Tineke, Biko, they will leave it. I didn't language you know how to say please. Please, please, help me donate. So on that video, I am done. Thank you for listening. Thank you for watching. Signing off. Talkinsen. Bye. Funds for charity through a 5K run. Mercy Ship. Please, oh, I beg, I take Jesus beg you. Support me in donating to this charity. I have not said it in the beginning of this video, but I'm saying it now. Please, please support me. I really want